Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you've ever felt that all the standard advice on being attractive, the constant effort, the need to project this perfect image, if that's ever felt just, well, exhausting and maybe not even effective,
Mm.
then this deep dive is absolutely for you. Today, we are really tearing down that whole myth of the perfect person.
Yeah, oh yeah, right.
We're looking at source material that points to what women actually respond to. And we can promise you, if you stick with us, you're going to hear something surprisingly counterintuitive about real appeal. It's about doing less.
It's absolutely about doing less. The source we're looking at today suggests that so much of what we're told is attractive is actually, a huge turnoff.
Okay, so what's the source?
Translates, roughly to the power and appeal of the languid predator.
The languid predator. I like that.
And our mission here is to understand why trying so hard, that tension of constantly trying to prove yourself, is seen as a profound weakness, not a strength.
All right, let's just get right into it. The source seems to hammer home this one idea, and it feels radical. It's stop trying to be perfect, dare to be unbuttoned.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Why is that striving, that perfect, polished image, why is that the fatal flaw?
It really all comes down to the psychology of tension. The source describes this very specific guy. He's completely stiff.
Right.
He's running this constant mental checklist, trying to hide any little flaw. And he is just terrified of making a single mistake.
So he's trying to project total control.
Exactly. But here's the paradox. The source calls him the lead attractive man in the room.
Wow. So the very effort to look perfect is what makes him so imperfect. But what is that tension actually communicating? If on the surface he looks kind.
It communicates deficiency. That's the word they use. And more specifically, it signals that he has no margin.
No margin, like a financial buffer.
That's a great way to think about it. That tightness in his shoulders, the over-rehearsed way he talks. It basically screams, I have no margin for error.
He's signaling that he's already operating at 100% capacity. Any little thing, a change of plans, a tiny failure is going to completely break him.
That's a powerful idea. Zero margin equals deficiency. If you're that scared of a flaw being exposed, you're basically admitting your entire foundation is fragile.
You've got it. And it's not just financial, it's emotional. It's this deep anxiety that's basically saying, if they find out who I really am,
I'm finished.
yes, I'm finished. This is what the text calls fake strength. It's just an exhausting, unsustainable performance.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, because we have to talk about the receiver's perspective. A woman's biological radar, as the source puts it. Why does it find this so repulsive? Why not just see the effort and appreciate the nice suit?
Because the effort is the flaw. That's the key. When her radar picks up on that tension, it senses the fear underneath. And it immediately flags it as fake strength. Humans are just. We're wired to recognize authentic power. And when someone sees a weak man trying to deceive them by acting strong, the result isn't sympathy, it's repulsion. Because it's a lie.
It's a lie. She sees a man who is terrified of himself.
So the insight here isn't that flaws are attractive, not at all. It's that aggressively hiding your flaws is what's repulsive.
Precisely. It screams insecurity. It screams that you have no resources, no margin to just handle reality. If you have to prove you're strong, your strength is already in question.
You're trying to pull value from her approval instead of just presenting your own inherent value.
Exactly. And that creates this immediate power imbalance that just kills attraction.
Okay, so if fake strength is toxic, driven by tension,
Yeah.
then let's get to the other side. Part 2, true power. The source says true power does not pose, it relaxes, it's slightly disheveled.
This is where we get to the languid predator.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate expression of confident ease.
Right.
If the deficient man is defined by his tension, the powerful man is defined by his relaxation. His power is just so certain that he has nothing left to prove.
But let me push back on that for a second. Couldn't languid just come across as lazy or, arrogant or sloppy? How do you separate that from this attractive, relaxed state?
That is the critical question, and the source has a great answer. Overwhelming internal order. Languidness isn't laziness. It is the external result of having that internal order. Laziness comes from chaos.
Yeah.
Languidness comes from having your life so put together, emotionally, financially, mentally, that all that external effort just becomes, well, unnecessary.
So the guy with OIO, he's done the work.
Mm-hmm.
The self-acceptance, the planning, he's built a solid foundation, so he doesn't need to go around asking people if his house is okay.
You nailed it. He is internally grounded. He knows his flaws. He's cool with them, and his life has margin. Lots of it. So his relaxation is real. It's not a performance.
And the source has that analogy.
Oh, such a great one. Just as a lion does not flex its muscles before a rabbit.
I love that. Let's stay on that for a second. The lion doesn't need to posture. It doesn't even need to stand up quickly.
No.
It knows its power is a fact, It's not a performance for the rabbit.
Think about it in a conversation. The tense guy, he'll try to dominate it, right? Over-explain his job, nervously fill every silence. The languid predator, he'll listen. Maybe he'll take a beat too long before answering. And when he does speak, it's with this easy authority. He's not performing dominance. He just is.
The difference is just, it's night and day. One is begging for approval. The other is just existing in his own reality.
Yes.
So what's the psychological effect on a woman when she encounters that? That genuine languidness?
The source says she is instinctively disarmed.
Disarmed? Why?
Because there's no performance to question. There are no holes to poke in his story. The relaxed man creates a field of, well, of safety. He isn't putting her on a pedestal and demanding that she validates him. He removes all that pressure.
So he's not demanding her energy. He's actually offering stability.
That's it right there. She immediately feels the, and this is the quote, the gap in class between him and the other males who are nervous in front of her.
Because they're all chasing. They're trying to impress.
They're chasing. But the languid man, because his internal order is complete, he doesn't need to chase. He signals that he's the prize. He's not the one applying for the job.
And that's the dynamic shift where the real attraction happens. It goes way beyond surface level stuff.
It absolutely does. The relaxation isn't just being cool. It's proof of a deep internal strength. And the source says, in his relaxation, she feels your solid core.
A solid core.
She senses you're unshakable. And that internal strength creates this draw, a force field. And she is pulled in by your gravity. Power attracts. It doesn't chase.
That's a beautiful way to put it. The power comes from letting go, because letting go proves you have the foundation to handle whatever comes. You have margin.
You've just defined it perfectly. When she sees you're relaxed, she feels safe. And safety is this fundamental attractive trait that we always seem to forget about.
Okay, so let's bring this all together for everyone listening. How do you actually do this? We've talked about tension versus languid ease. How do you make this a reality?
The main takeaway has to be this. A man's attraction comes from relaxation, not tension. All that frantic energy of proving yourself, of posturing, that's what kills attraction. So if you want to be more appealing, you have to lower your own tension.
But it's so easy to just say, relax, right? Which usually just makes you more tense. So where do you even start applying this idea of overwhelming internal order?
It starts small. You practice self-acceptance in situations that don't matter that much. The goal is to stop trying to prove yourself by flexing and instead overwhelm her by letting go.
Give me an example.
Okay, say you make a small mistake. You misspeak, or you notice a small stain on your shirt. The fake strength guy panics. He overcorrects. He gets defensive.
Okay, you get a big deal out of it.
The languid predator. He just acknowledges it, maybe laughs it off, and moves on. He doesn't let it register as a threat to his overall value.
So it's about shifting from trying to be perfect to just accepting what is.
Exactly. Instead of thinking, I have to perform perfectly, you think, I can handle whatever happens next, so there's no need to worry. When you're internally secure, you don't need external validation. And that lack of need is just, it's incredibly attractive.
Because that languid ease is your power. It's not a trick you're doing. It's the result of building that solid core.
And that's why it's gravitational. It's the difference between desperately grabbing for someone's hand and just standing so steady that they choose to lean on you. The power is in the structure you built.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. We started by showing how fake strength is really just efficiency and how that tension is actually repulsive.
And we built up to this idea of the languid predator, whose relaxation, which comes from overwhelming internal order, creates a pull that is just. It's instinctively attractive. The real power is in letting go.
So as you go about your week, you have a choice. Are you going to operate from a place of tension and efficiency, or from a place of power and languid ease? It all comes down to building that internal margin.
And I'll leave you with this to think about. If overwhelming internal order is what allows for total relaxation, ask yourself, what is one small imperfect thing you are obsessed with controlling right now? Something you're afraid of people seeing? What if you just chose to stop managing it, just for today?
Just drop the rope.
Just drop the rope.
Yeah.
Just observe what happens. The shift in your own sense of power when you replace that anxiety with a little bit of confident ease. Maybe that one act of not controlling is the first real step toward building that irresistible gravity.